Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this map tour video with me, CWATTY, in Farming Simulator 22. Today I'm looking at a map called Clarkson 4X. And the reason I'm looking at this map is because it recently popped up on the Giants mods in testing list. And it sparked a lot of discussion on several forums and in several Discord groups that I kind of observe and watch as to what it was, with a lot of people speculating it may have been a Clarkson's Farm map. Somebody was going to do a Clarkson's Farm map. If you've seen the Amazon series with Jeremy Clarkson farming his farm down in the Cotswolds, you will be familiar with Clarkson's Farm. However, I did a bit of researching online because I was like, I'm not so sure. Because of the fact it was called Clarkson 4X, not Clarkson's Farm. I think if you was going to do Clarkson's Farm, you would have called it Clarkson's Farm. Well, I did my researching on the net and found out that Clarkson 4X is a fictional US 4X map. And here it is. It is available to download on the internet. It is on some mod sites. I don't know if this is an early version of the map, and I don't know if it's going to differ in any way from the version that the mod author has submitted Giants for testing and hopefully future inclusion in the game for players to download via the in-game Modhub. But I thought I'd come and give you a quick tour of what you can kind of expect from the map. We've got vehicle sheds with our starting fleet of equipment, and again, all the sheds have lovely animated doors. Now, full disclosure, I have tried to record this map look video once today already. However, I ran into a problem with the video earlier, whereby since installing an OBS update, for OBS last night on my PC has not been able to record at the same settings that I've been using for the last 2 months. I started running into encoder overload issues. So when I actually recorded the 30-minute map tour video, when I tried to look at that video in my editing software, it ran like a slideshow. It was very stuttery and starty. So I'm having to do it again, having really reduced my recording settings in OBS. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is recording okay. But anyway, our starting fleet of vehicles includes a Rostel Smash, a Demco grain cart, a Case Axial Combine, which actually has the Capello header for corn and sunflower. There is no grain header in your starting fleet of equipment. Okay, so corn harvesting and sunflower harvesting is going to be your first thing. That's all you've got access to. Okay, there are collectibles on the map. However, one of the first bugs I've run into is that you can't pick them up because no matter where you are in this shed, when you press the button, pick up the collectibles, you're turning the lights on and off. So the light trigger, the trigger for the lights is incorrect, is wrong. And this is on every single shed. If you actually come over to the light switch where the trigger is supposed to be, it doesn't actually work. I think the mod author's got his triggers back to front, because where I am at the trigger, at the switch, or whatever, lights are not going on and off. However, bang smack in the middle of the shed, the lights go on and off, and this is on every single shed. I've been around and checked it, and I find that a little bit strange, because this is using Giants' own assets. This map doesn't have any mod author added buildings, any custom buildings or anything like that. It's only using base game assets. Okay, so I don't get why the trigger is broken on all the sheds. We've got a John Deere 8R. We've got a John Deere 7R as well, somewhere out on the map, pulling a grain cart. We've got the Kinsey planter, and we've got a Kinsey cultivator, disc harrow. We've got the main silo here at the farm for storing all your stuff. And that's it. Pretty much. After that, bare bones. An area here, I suppose, for storing bales and stuff. And then you've got another shed back here with absolutely zero in it. Got a workshop trigger. Workshop back here for repairing your vehicles. Okay, and then you've got another empty shed where you can park stuff, or you can dump bulk materials, maybe like beets, potatoes. But let's have a look at the map. Now, it's a 4x map, which means it's 4 times the size of the regular Giants in-game base maps. Your Elm Creeks, your Hout Balerons, your Erlengrats. This map is 4 of those maps combined in size. However, it only has 13 actual fields, which are all naturally shaped and unique. There's a nice round one here. Then there's a great big massive one up here with sugar beets on it, which is 1,039 acres in size. Okay, and it's not badly priced actually, 841,000. There are some other areas of land, 30 grand. And some of these areas of land actually are quite useful. This one we'll get to in a little while. 14 grand. That's a bargain in the end for what it is. Okay, now the map does have contracts. And they do pay very, very nice and generous amounts of money for various different things. And I can click the buttons using the refresh contracts mod thing, and I can make contracts disappear, or I can make new contracts appear, whatever. There are no productions owned when you start on the map. However, they are all built in, which means every single production exists somewhere on the map that you can go and buy. The map author has done that and has added all the sell points as well. Like I say, the only thing missing from the map, there are no animal pens, so you have to buy and place your own pens if you want to do animal husbandry on this map. Now, as you can see, we start over here at the farm, and the first thing I noticed, we've got a couple of grape orchards. So if we head north from the map, from the farm, one of our starting areas, admittedly, we don't have any grape harvesting equipment. We don't have any grape prepping equipment. We don't have a subsoiler, a mulcher, fertilizer. We have got this massive, massive grape orchard, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to do grapes, which now's probably the great time to do grapes with Giant's announcement that the first DLC for the game is going to be small tractors for vineyard and that usage for using with your grapes and olive areas. Perfect. So yeah, we've got a nice grape area if we want to start out doing grapes ourselves. And what I like about that is if you've placed grapes in game yourself, you know how expensive they can get. You know they can get really, really expensive. If we head this way, past the silo, and come up the little hill behind the farm, we've got another grape orchard up this little hill, along with the grape processing plant for making grape juice. So that lives up here on the hill. Although we own the land it sits on, we don't actually own the factory. Okay, we don't own the factory, so we can't do anything with the factory at the minute, but we could, if, you know, if you bought all the equipment, you could go and farm all of these orchards, and, you know, grapes everywhere. So, let's have a bit of a trek out from the map. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run down the road to the fast food processing place. Now, one of the things I need to point out on this map, there is no AI traffic. And there is no road network built into the map. No traffic splines, anything like that. So if you're a fan of using the AI workers to drive equipment across your maps, drive to fields, drive to sell points, that does not work on this map because none of that stuff exists in the map. That was made quite clear in the map author's description. AI workers don't work on this map. They don't even work very well on the fields, because all these fields, because they are obviously weird and wonderful shapes, they're not square and rectangle, apart from the one down here, field 11, they don't really have proper field definitions, which means the AI workers tend to have a bit of a problem working the full amount of the field. Okay? So bear that in mind. I'm not sure if that's something that Giants might actually force the map author to change. I would imagine if Giants test the map properly, in accordance with their Modhub guidelines, they will say to the map, they will reject the map and say, your fields need to have field definitions, mate. Okay, you need to get that implemented. Because obviously you run into situations whereby when you start going around some of these fields, you'll notice the crops don't go quite to the edges of the fields in certain places. The AI doesn't use the whole field. Whereas obviously you, the player, you will, because you'll be obviously driving the machines and equipment yourself. You'll be able to use the whole fields, but the AI farmers only use a tiny part of the fields in some instances where there is definition. Now over here we have the animal dealer. Okay. And again, most of these, all these assets, all these buildings, sell points and everything, they've all been lifted more or less straight from the Elm Creek map. Now, we're having a quick look over here. Got a lime station for buying lime. We've got a sell point there for unloading bales and things at the animal dealer, the supplies. And we've got, obviously, your buying point for buying your animals, if you've got your pens and stuff. There's also a little bit of a shed over here. Very similar to, obviously, to the Elm Creek animal dealer. Obviously, the sell point for bales and stuff is located here on Elm Creek. The map author has moved it, put it in a different place. But there's your animal dealer. If we continue up the road, go a little bit further, we come to another area here on the map, which is Cereals Factory. Okay, Cereals Factory there. Again, you can buy that, start making your cereals if you want to make your cereals. And then over here, you've got your typical cell trigger over here, which is for your feed and grain south. Okay. Coming out of here, we've got fuel station just over here, where you've got your fuel. You can refuel your vehicles. And again, it's the Elm Creek fuel station. So he's just recycling all the base game assets. So the actual file size of this map to download is very, very small, because it's linking to and referencing a lot of files that already exist in the base game. You then obviously back to your starting equipment, your Agroliner and your John Deere 7R. For some reason start parked on this road. I have not driven this here. Okay. I did not drive this to this point of the bit map. This is where it starts. I assume because you own field 7. And field 7 is your cornfield that you need to harvest straight away. Okay, if we run past the cornfield that we start with straight away, we follow this road up here, it brings us to the store, the shop. where we can buy our vehicles, where you can also repair vehicles and equipment, where all your leased equipment will spawn. Okay, you've got the kind of decoration building over here, like you have on Elm Creek, that does absolutely nothing, doesn't have any function. You can ignore that. There's another area over here again where he's put some buildings. Again, these have no function, they're just for decoration. But your service trigger, repair trigger, is in the same place as Elm Creek, although handily puts the trigger in front of the box as opposed to Elm Creek, which tucks it right in this corner. And then we've also got the store menu for buying all your equipment, tractors, bits and bobs and everything. Okay. The only trouble is I've found as well, when accessing that trigger, when you come out of that trigger, you're glitched into the building. And unfortunately, the only way out of it is to tab to a vehicle. So again, I imagine Giants test the map fully, in full detail. They will... Sorry about that, I just got briefly interrupted there. So we want to head north. That's where we want to head. Let's head up the road, because this is what I kind of wanted to show you earlier in regards to some of the little plots of land and the pricing, because the land pricing is not bad on this map for the area and volume of the fields. Now, if we head up this way, there's going to be another icon in a minute, another area over here. And again, we've got the spinnery over here. And we've got the bakery. And like I say, there are collectibles on the map. And you can collect them in some areas. You just can't sadly collect the ones that are in the sheds at the main farm, because the light trigger interferes. Now, if we carry on heading north from the bakery and spinnery area, we come to this area of the map, which has got olive trees planted on it. And this is the area of the map that's 14 grand up here. This plot of land here for 14,000. That's an absolute bargain. Because if you've actually placed olive trees yourself in game, you know how ridiculously expensive they are. To do an olive grove like this, you're going to spend over 100,000, I would think, very, very easily. So to buy a whole area with olive trees already planted on it for 14 grand, that's an absolute bargain. And I've yet to see any other maps in my map tour videos that I've done so far. I've yet to see any other maps that have included grape orchards and olive groves out of the gate. Right out of the gate, out of the bat, you know? Tell you what we'll do. We'll go and have a bit of a fly, shall we? Now, I've spent a bit of time running around on the ground. We'll go and have a fly. And whilst we're heading to our next destination, okay, which is over here, I can also say, one of the things I have learnt from my past map look videos is to check the log file, okay? And I can assure you, ladies and gents, I've been through the log file. There are no errors on this map. Apart from the normal errors you seem to find, which even exist on Giants maps if you actually look at them, to do with foliage layers and lod things and meshes and stuff, which I think Giants are going to fix in their 1.3 update. But certainly compared to County Line, which I did my last map look review tour video thing on, this map has no errors in the log. Unlike Wild West 16, this map has no errors in the log. Everything functions apart from the triggers, the light triggers, the the light switches, and there's also a field. I wonder if I'm going to find it. There was a field on this map which has a massive sinkhole in it. Got the grain mill over here. And again, we've got a sell point there as well. I think it's on, it might be on this field actually. Might be. I know it was on a yellow one. As I was flying around the map, you kind of spotted it from up high. Also, I noticed there's a couple of weird issues on map where you get some funny textures. Got oat ready to harvest, but then you've also got soybeans growing. There's a couple of fields where I think when the guy's been painting his crops on the field, he's painted the wrong stuff. There's a couple of little things. Again, this is the version of the map that's available, that's circulating on the internet. It might not be a fair reflection of the map that he has submitted to Giants. Nice, we've got a BGA on the map. And again, it's the standard fair BGA you get on Elm Creek. Again, the only thing I would have liked to have seen, and again, this is just my thing, for any would-be map makers out there, and mod authors out there, when using this setup in your maps, it would be nice if you do like Stevie does on his maps, and put in a couple of grates here, between the bins and your silage bale drop-off area, for you to be able to loose tip silage. If you've got, you know, trailers and you're carting massive trailer loads of silage, a regular tip point down here would be great. Still have these for people that chuck back, who are bringing bales and are unloading bales into the BGA, definitely. But if you're someone who's using bunkers to make your silage, and you're making huge amounts of silage, which I'm guessing on fields like this, the size of this, if you do a grass field, if you make any of these a grass field, you're going to get a lot of silage. So you're going to need a way to tip that fairly handily, fairly quickly. Now, we can head over in this direction. I'm actually kind of working on this tour video in kind of the reverse fashion. The reverse way around. I did go counterclockwise, I think it was, last time. Down here, sell point. Nothing really fancy about that. Plenty of logging capabilities on the map. Logging tree areas you can buy and get lots of logs. And this is the big circular field, which I believe has cotton planted on it. Then there's a nice area down here on the southeast corner of the map. Here, which is 39,000. That is just covered in grass. So again, if you want to get into your animal situation, you're welcome to do that. Here's a good example of where you can see what I mean about the field definitions and the AI not using the full dimensions of the field. You then got your dairy down here. You got your dairy. Travel up this little road here. Got your sawmill placed and hidden off in the trees. Somewhere down in this direction. We're heading along the south edge of the map now. We're heading east to west. Kind of trying to orientate yourself. Okay. In this little area here, you've got your sawmill and your carpentry factory area. Okay. Big empty field. head over this way. So yeah, for people who want to do logging and stuff, there's plenty of chance to do that because there's plenty of trees and stuff. See the farm up there on the distance? In the distance. Over here there is another lime station. Strangely, although the map author has brought across the South Valley Biomass Energy building from the Elm Creek map, there is no actual sell point here. So there's no actual selling of straw, grass, wood chips, that sort of thing available there. It literally is just a lime station right there. Right in the middle of the screen there. There's a lime station. So there's 2 lime stations on the map. But it's a bit weird that he didn't incorporate the biomass heating cell point. Now I wonder, I'm trying to find where that sinkhole is. I know it's on one of the fields. Ah, it's this one, look. This one over here. So yeah, again, in Giants editor, map editor, not quite been very careful when he's been smoothing out his terrain. He's ended up gouging a great big hole in his map. Okay. That's going to need to be fixed. Again, Giants, hopefully, again, if they test the map properly, they'll flag that and they'll pull that up. Depends if they do what I do, which is do a tour of the actual map in-game, or whether they're just looking at code. If they just look at code, then there's bound to be some errors slipping through. But yeah, this has been Clarkson 4X map. Like I say, has absolutely nothing to do with Jeremy Clarkson and Diddly Squat Farm. It's just a big American map that the map author has designed and has intended for people that want to use all their big equipment to be able to do so without pesky fences and hedges and stuff around the fields, and you know, having great big fields to be able to work on without the need. You know, there's nothing worse than having great big equipment and you do 2 passes on a field and it's done. You know, in game you drive up and down the field once and the field's done. It's obviously going to take you a lot longer to farm these fields on this map. And like I say, the fact that we've got grape orchards and olive groves built into the map from the outset is fantastic, especially for people looking to test drive the new DLC in a month's time, when that releases on March 22nd. Definitely give it a go. Like I say, this map is in Giants mod testing queue. Like I say, the version that Giants have for testing might be a little bit different from this map. It might have some of the things that I've mentioned in this video already addressed and corrected. This is a version of the map that's available out there in the wild on the internet right now. And I would think, like I say, Giants will want some of the things on this map brushed up and tweaked to make it, you know, Modhub certified. Obviously, the light switch triggers definitely going to need to be addressed. But yeah, I quite like the look of this map. I quite like the look of it. Some people say it's very bare bones. You know, you've got sell points and productions just randomly dropped around the map. There's not really much else decoration wise beyond that. There's no kind of town built into the map or anything that kind of makes it look lived in and that. But some people don't want that. Some people just want the maximum amount of space to do farming, and I think this map works very well for it. Certainly compared to County Line I looked at previously, which sadly really disappointed me, because having played County Line in FS19, whoever did the conversion for FS22 did such a poor job of it. It really was an insult to the original map author. The fact that it's completely broken and doesn't work and has got so many errors, and it just looks like whoever converted it gave up halfway through. And the County Line map, as a result, very disappointing when I did the map look at that. And then obviously the Wild Wild West map that I looked at, it was just too square and rectangle for my liking. It wasn't natural enough. It didn't look like a real world location. It didn't look like it, you know, existed in and could have been a real place. Because of this map has got obviously noticeable elevation changes. It's not flat. It's got the natural fields. It's got the wibbly wobbly shapes and everything. This feels a lot more natural than Wild Wild West. And I think I would, you know, I would sooner play on a map like this. If I was to play on a map, I think I would play this one. The fact that it's 4x as well means it's a lot more manageable by a single player or a small group of players. Again, if you're putting this on a server with a whole bunch of people, 16 people, going to be perfect for that. I like the fact you've got a very simple, modest little farm set up. But, you know, you've got room on the map to expand and put in additional stuff yourself. The only other thing I will briefly comment on before I end this video is that, like I say, there is no additional stuff. Everything in game is bare bones. It's all giant stuff. There's no map added placeables. There's no custom anything in terms of this. Same with the factories, selling points, etc. There's absolutely nothing custom added on this map. Again, you go into the main menu, you have a quick look at the crop situation. Map only has the FS22 base game crop types. The mod author has not added any multi-fruits or custom fruit types or anything. It is only, you know, FS22 crops. But I do like the fact you get grapes and you get olives on the map as, you know, pre-given, pre-set up, ready to go. You just need to buy the land and the equipment and you can farm it. That's a cool feature. I would like to see that in a few more maps given in time. I also like the fact we've got the grape processing building right here on the doorstep of the farm, right in the middle of one of our grape orchards. So as soon as we've got the money and can afford to buy that building, there's no reason not to. You can start getting into grape production very, very early on this map. Well, folks, I have reached the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this map look, this map tour. If you have, please make sure you click that like button for me. Leave me your comments in the comment section down below. Share the video everywhere you can with everyone you can and help get as many views and eyes on the map as possible and on the video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not doing so currently. I've been CWATTYESO. This has been the Clarkson 4X map. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Stay safe. Goodbye for now.